Are you turning into the one person you never thought you'd be? We'll tell you what it means if you're afraid of becoming your mother today on John and Leeza. And now, the hosts of our show, John Tesh and Leeza Gibbons.
That was kind of scary video right at the top of the show.
It scared me.
No, I am not scared of becoming my mother.
But do you find yourself
I'm doing it. Luckily for me, I think a lot of things that my mom did are things that I want to do, you know, so it's a positive thing. But you open your mouth and it's like, I can't believe I said that. And I think dads do it too. You know, you sort of, as a parent, you make choices that you say, okay, now, that's the way it was when I grew up, and I'm not going to do that to my kids.
I caught myself at about 2 o'clock in the morning when my stepson had friends over saying, don't make me come in here again.
I know. And what does that really mean?
It means absolutely nothing, because you end up going in there again.
It means the same thing as stop crying or I'm going to give you something to cry about.
You said
the same thing as that. What does that mean?
We have a mother and a daughter who are going to talk about that on the program. We also have a woman who wrote a book that is about the mother and daughter revolution. And I think it's great that your mom flew Leeza's mom in so she could be in the exercise segment with Estelle Getty, who's also on the program. And I think it's great that she's on here. And will she participate in this?
We're going to talk about it. You know, it's interesting because adolescence, pre-adolescence and adolescence, is a real tough time for mothers and daughters. There are a lot of issues at stake. There's, you know, confidence and self-esteem and body image and matters with sexuality. And I think there's a lot of negotiating that goes on. And I think that young women trade off a lot of parts of themselves in order to fit in or to be what they think their mothers expect of them. And one thing that I think is interesting in that book, the author of the book says, if your teenage daughter does not hate you at some point during those years, then something is wrong and she won't grow up to be okay. That it's better if they hate you. So feel okay about your relationships out there with your mom.
Shall we meet your mom? She's over here.
My mom is right here. Jean Gibbons, everybody. South Carolina.
I'm doing fine. First of all, we are so happy to have you here. And now, was Leeza was she a good girl? Was she easy to deal with?
Well,
well,
she was not as hard as I guess it could have been, but she was pretty headstrong.
Don't make me come over there.
She was headstrong. We get some of that here too. We get some of that headstrong stuff. Did you? I want to ask you these questions later, but did she come in like real late when you told her to come in at midnight? And she'd be in at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with a different boy every night. We'll save that for later.
She dated a lot of guys.
I bet she did.
Hello.
Thank you, Jean. That's
you know, Mom, Daddy's on the phone. I think there's an emergency at home, and maybe you can't make it for the rest of the show. No, I'm glad you're here, Mom. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. I think your input will be helpful.
We're going to embarrass the heck out of Leeza. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Today on John and Leeza. Country singer Carlene Carter joins us for a live performance of Every Little Thing. Plus, Estelle Getty reveals why she's moved out of the Golden Palace and into an empty nest. And find out what it means if you're trying to avoid becoming just like dear old Mom. Coming up next with John and Leeza.
Well, I definitely see where you got your good looks. Your mom is gorgeous.
Oh, isn't that nice? Yes. She's beautiful, isn't she? I love her. I'm always glad to get some time to spend with her, and it's real sweet of her to agree to come to be on the show. It is kind of nerve-wracking, though, I will tell you, because that's a very intimate relationship. And to reveal, you know, part of it like this it's got me sort of operating at a different level today.
After today's show, will she be staying at your house this evening, or will she be going to a hotel?
She'll be there, of course.
Okay, all right.
I hope to do as well as a mom as she did with me.
Oh, that's nicely said.
But you know, we had our ups and downs, and I threatened to run away, and all those things are very familiar stories. It is an old and familiar one. Dory Calloway, who's on our show today, feels that her mother is way too strict, and she just doesn't understand her. And her mom tries to be a good, rational parent, but now and then finds herself acting more like her mother than herself. So it's a generational thing.
And here to share their story of a mother and daughter trying to make their relationship work, please welcome Wendy and Dory Calloway. Hi, ladies.
Hi, both of you. Thank you so much. No problem. Dory, let's start with this business of running away. How did it get to that point?
Well, I had a friend that I really felt was the only friend I had in the world, and she decided that that friend was a very bad influence for me. And she said I couldn't be her friend anymore, and I had to make all new friends, and I just didn't think I could do it. And I wanted to be this girl's friend so badly that I felt that I had to run away in order to achieve that.
Now, your mom just issued, there was an edict, you may not be friends with this girl.
Mm-hmm. That was
Why did you feel you needed to be friends so badly with her?
She was the only friend I had, or at least I felt I had. I mean, I know now that she wasn't the only friend I had, but that's what I felt in my heart.
So it was real important to you?
Yes, very.
Did you think that running away was the right thing to do in retrospect?
No. I think I should have tried to work it out with her more. I don't think we should have fought so much.
Now, for you to threaten to leave home at that young age, that's a big issue between any parent and child, and for a mother and daughter, that brings a lot of things to the surface. Wendy, this must have terrified you.
Yeah, and I think it also hooked, you know, I think as a mom, there's the rational part of us, and then there's the other part that says, well, I'm the mom, you know, so you have to do this.
I'm in control here.
I'm in control here, and I wasn't at that point. I really, in fact, she went to the girl's house that I told her she couldn't go to. I said one of those, like, dumb things, well, if you think they're such great people, you could live at their house. She said, oh. You know, I mean, I found that ultimatums don't work, you know, and, but she had known this girl for a while, and I kept saying, oh, I'm being unreasonable, maybe this girl isn't a bad influence, but things just built up to a point, and my husband and I talked about it, and we just said, no, this is it. This is where it stops. She is, you know, she was climbing out of her window at 2 a.m., you know, and hearing these stories, I said, Dory, you just can't be with this girl.
I'm glad she did, because now she's on drugs. She's a pretty heavy drug addict.
The girl, the friend.
Yes, I'm very glad I'm not allowed to be friends with her.
Were there tears and kind of name-calling, not name-calling, but, you know, making accusations about each other when you would get in these...
She thought that I had, and in fact, I think it's true, by saying she couldn't be with that one friend, it cut her off from all the other friends. And I felt really awful about it at the time, but there was no, I mean, as a parent, at some point you have to say, you know, it's my job description here is, as your mom, you have to be safe, and this isn't safe anymore. And
Did you feel that she didn't have enough good judgment on her own to make that choice by herself, or that it might be too late when she came to it?
I think peer pressure was too great with these girls that were in the group, that it would be too late. And my brother-in-law, who's a principal of an alternative school, so he sees kids all the way through, he said to me, it is peer group, don't kid yourself. You know, the family is important, but by the time they hit adolescence, it is their peer group. And if you don't think they're with the right people, do something. Whatever it takes, do it. So
what kind of a relationship did you have with your mother?
Well, I think...
And do you see yourself doing some of the things that she did to you in raising you, to your daughter?
Yeah, I think, in fact, what changed a lot of my relationship with Dory was when I realized that instead of explaining to her why she couldn't be friends with this kid, I just came down as an authority and said, you can't. And my mom always, my mother, I never apologized. It was just her rules.
She couldn't admit being fallible.
She couldn't admit being fallible. And after all this happened, you know, I said, I mean, it put Dory and I into counseling for a couple months. And one of the things that I didn't realize was I'd been completely critical of her all the time, because my mother would say, gee, you sure look nice today, but you'd look that good every day. And I found with Dory, I was saying, gee, that's a great grade in geometry if you'd only get the biology grade up. You know, and I thought I was being a good, supportive parent, and,
You weren't.
and I wasn't. I was adding criticism. You know, with one hand you give a compliment, and the other hand you add, well, but I want you to do this.
What about sex? Now, did your mother have a discussion with you about sex, and did you have one with Dory? Never.
Never. She never did. And
How did that impact you?
Did she even acknowledge that you had a sexual side component to yourself?
One time she said to me, as I was going out with the boys, she said, you know, you should never let them touch you. And that was like, oh, I mean, I wasn't even crossing my mind at that point.
Well, how did that lack of talk affect you?
I think in some ways I was really pretty wild, and I think my mother was pretty naive. She came from another time period, and she was young when she had me. And
What was it, a promiscuous lifestyle?
no, I don't think so. I think I was typical of the kids, but you know, I knew I could lie to her and get away with it. That she
She didn't want to know.
She really didn't want to know. And And I think because of that, I've told Dory, you know, there's not a lot you're going to tell me that I haven't possibly seen or done or heard of or known someone, my
Do
son.
you respect her for taking that position with you, Dory?
Yeah, I do. I'm glad she doesn't say, "Don't have sex or I'll kill you."
That was one thing my mother said to me.
She recognized that you were going to have sexual feelings, and that was part of it.
I'm glad she talks to me about it, because I could never, if I got pregnant, I could never, like, if she hadn't said that, I could have never gone to her ever.
Right. Well, stay right here. We're going to add one more person to this equation. When we come back, an expert on mother-daughter relationships is going to try and find some help for Wendy and Dory. Don't go away.
How did one woman get thousands back from the scam artists who cheated her grandmother? Find out tomorrow on John and Leeza. When girls start to reach adolescence and enter society, they hit a wall where the rules seem to change overnight. Author Idalise Malevich.
And she is joining us now. Idalise is a woman with real insight into the mother-daughter relationship. She is a mom, vice president of the Ms. Foundation, and co-author of the book Mother-Daughter Revolution: From Betrayal to Power. Please welcome Idalise Malevich.
Thank you.
So what do you think of what you've heard so far with these two?
I think what we got to hear were some of the conflicts that are fairly typical of the relationship between mother and daughters at this age. The conflict really is about a mother's very understandable desire to protect her child and her daughter and to keep her safe in a world that's not always safe for girls. And a girl's desire is a very strong one to explore and know the world that she's going to be living in.
And it's a tough line, not wanting to crush the spirit.
That's exactly
and,
right.
And defeat, what is a necessary part of that transition.
So it's a constant negotiation about that line.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Dory, do you feel that when you become a parent, you will make different choices than your mom has made with you?
Well, I could say I could, but I don't know if that's going to happen, because it doesn't seem to look like it happened with my mom. So,
But would you want to be different?
yeah, I think I would. I don't think I'd be quite as strict. She's kind of strict.
I haven't spoken to any mother or daughter who hasn't said that when they mother, they want to do it differently than their mother. That seems to be a common theme. And I think it's usually spurred by, it's sometimes a difficult relationship. It can come from there. And it also can come from different times. I mean, mothering a daughter now is very different than when you and I were mothered.
I think, when we had, I think maybe 20 years ago when feminism first came to the forefront, we all said our daughters were going to let them do and say and whatever they want. But I can't tell my daughter, when some crazy person is out there, say, yeah, just to get off the road because you're right. The guy could shoot her. It is a different world. And so you want your children, and especially my daughter, I want her to be forthright and to say what's on her mind, but I don't want to have her in danger. I think any parent, that's the number one rule, is you don't want them to physically be in danger. Beyond that, everything's negotiable. But that's, yeah.
What's interesting to me is that sometimes I think mothers put out their messages that subconsciously are defeating to really nurturing the essence that they want in daughters. Cultural messages like, boys won't like you if you don't appear to be too smart. It's intimidating to men.
That's what my mother told me.
I think that mothers end up being cast in the role of the person who has to deliver many of the cultural messages that women live by. Mothers really are in a very difficult situation of having to pick on the one hand and having to protect their daughters, wanting their daughters to fit in, to become the kinds of women that are successful. And we do live in a world that honors and appreciates women who behave in certain ways, feminine women, women who are nice. So we early on start telling our daughters, particularly when they hit 11 or 12, be nice. Sit up straight, smile, be good, don't get angry, don't hurt somebody. And the list of injunctions that we hear about how we look and how we act, all about perfection. And I think we heard that in the conversation with Wendy and Dory. We want our daughters to be perfect, and we want to be perfect mothers. And it's so wonderful that you your mistakes and acknowledge
that would be the one big difference I think I've made between my mother and my is that I apologize to my kids, because sometimes I really screw up. You know, I make a decision and then I look back and I think, well, that was pretty stupid. I don't know why did I do that? And I've had to go to both my kids and to Dory and say, look, you know, I really called that one wrong.
Leeza, the number one mistake that a mother can make in dealing with her daughter, what would it be?
I think that the number one is not to listen, to not really listen and try to know who your daughter is. And I think that sometimes motivated by lots of good reasons.
Wendy, you're nodding.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that has been for me the
How do you not listen? What does she do, Dory, when she's not listening? You're talking to her and she's just not paying attention, or is it she's not hearing you?
Both. I think a little of. More she doesn't hear me than she doesn't pay attention to me.
So she's looking at you, but she's not hearing what you're saying.
I think sometimes I prepare my reply, you know, because
waiting your turn.
Waiting my turn, and I have to say, you know, listening is a real uncharted course, and you have to like see where it goes. And sometimes I want to chart the course because I want an outcome to be a certain way.
Yeah, here's my position no matter what you say.
Right, and I've had to change my position a lot. I mean, she is her own person, and sometimes they're so remarkable. I mean, I've learned a lot from raising her. I think I've learned more about being a person raising my daughter than I did growing up through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you were younger, you had an illegal abortion. Is that right?
In fact, I told Dory, there was this one point where we were talking about being honest, and I said to her, look, you know, when I was 18 years old, I got pregnant and I couldn't tell my mother, and I had an abortion where they blindfolded me and I laid in the back of a car and went down into this place. I think the guy was a doctor, I don't know, but I'd never told my parents, and I said, don't ever put yourself, no matter how you think I may feel about it, don't ever be in danger. There is no limb you can go out on. I mean, because kids make mistakes. You go to a party, there's whatever, but don't ever think that you can't tell me.
What was Dory's reaction when you told her?
Yeah.
I was surprised. I would never think I'm like, my mom, whoa. You know, she's not the kind of, I didn't think she was the kind of person to do that. But I'm glad she told me. I really am. Because now if I'm ever in a situation where I need to get an abortion, I feel I can go to her.
Well, I hope you're never going to be.
I won't.
I mean, the other thing that my husband and I really feel is it's a dangerous world out there. I mean, abstinence is what we talk about with the kids, but you can't ignore what's going on.
Sure.
And we have to tell kids the truth. If I'm not a place they can get the truth, where else are they going to get it? I mean, whether I like it or not. You know?
Basically, though, they're doing really well.
It sounds wonderful to me because the other side, the other things that mothers often do is not share their lives and the full honesty of what's going on. It has happened to them.
Wendy, Dory, thanks so much for sharing your stories with us. We really appreciate it. Leeza, stay right here because we're going to have Leeza's mom here, and this should be fun.
It'll be lovely.
And fun.
It'll be fun for me, anyway. We'll be right back.
Still to come, Carlene Carter reveals what life was like with Cash, Clapton, and McCartney. And Estelle Getty talks about health, happiness, and her hot new role in Empty Nest. Stay with us.
We're back with Leeza Malavey and Leeza's mom, Jean Gibbons, talking about mother-daughter relationships. And I don't think we're going to get a lot of good stuff here because I mean, like fighting and throwing things, because you two really do, Jean, get along very well.
We do.
For several in the 7 years that I've known Leeza. But you must, when she was a teenager, you must have thought about something, because she is, as you mentioned earlier in the program, she can be headstrong.
Oh, yeah, she's very headstrong. She wouldn't be my child if she wasn't, I'm sure. But no, when she was growing up, I was the mother, you know, and it was my job to train her. And she was not a perfect little angel, you know. She could, I know once when she was in high school, I was driving her to school, and we were going to be late because she was always the last minute. And I looked over, and she had, enough eyeshadow and mascara and skirt up to here. And I thought, this just will not do.
We've had that problem on the show.
I had rushed out real quickly and hadn't really checked, and I said, I cannot take you to school. I cannot believe your eyes, you know. And of course, she didn't know how to put it on. It looked like, you know, down here. so I said, we're going back home. You're going to wash your face. So I turned around and went back home. Then I took her and went in and told the principal, you know, I had to take her back home because she had on too much makeup to be in high school, and I said she looked awful. And he said, I wish you had told me the car broke down. I said, I've got to put her down as being late. I said, well, it's a good reason. So I thought, now what will I do? The more I fuss with her, the worse it's going to be, you know? So I just went over and enrolled her in this little charm school. And I said, I don't want her to be a model. I want her to learn how to put her makeup on like a lady and to get in and out of the car without falling down and just that. Don't want her to be a model.
You went to charm school?
I went to charm school. Where
I mean, you went to charm school.
Yes, thank you, John. Yes. Incredulous. You went to charm school.
But what did they do with you in there?
Well, they did teach you how to sit so people couldn't see up your skirt and, keep your shoulders up and posture. But ironically, when you were mentioning that, this was a big fight with us, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because
I resented the heck out of her for doing it.
Class.
How old were you? I was like 13, maybe.
Yeah, and I took her over there for her first little session. And I said, okay, now you go in this door. You've already been enrolled. And told her the teacher's name. I can't remember, the instructors. And she said, I am not going in there. And I said, sweetie, you've got a choice. You can go under your own steam, or I will take you by the little hand, and we will both walk in. But she was very upset with me for that because she didn't think she needed that. She
but
thought
Elise, isn't it interesting that the things we're talking about culturally that are programmed into girls, ironically, that's part of what was at this issue, that you need to look right, you need to sit properly, you need to learn to fit in.
And central to being a successful woman is how you look. How beautiful are you? How attractive are you to men? And it's not surprising that the mothers and mothers of your mother's generation would encourage you, because they love you and want you to be a successful woman, to be good at those things, to go to charm school, to put makeup on in the right way, to be as lovely as you can be to boys.
Pretty is as pretty does, is what you always said to me, that I've repeated a million times to my 4-year-old daughter already.
Regine, when you see Leeza with little Lexi, 4-year-old Lexi, do you see her doing things that you don't necessarily agree with? That's a yes.
Oh, go ahead, Mom. She does.
Some things, because, I don't think even though she's my daughter, she's not going to parent the way I parented her, I'm sure. We're not going to do it identical. But I did promise myself that when my children got married and had children of their own, I would sit back and trust them, because I brought them up as best I could.
How's that going, sitting back?
Well, I blew it the last time I was up here.
I heard about this, actually.
Yeah. We went out, and I told Lisa, I said, you have got to discipline Lexi differently. What you're doing is not working.
She's manipulating you.
She's manipulating you. And
she has too much. She doesn't appreciate things. And I said to her, this was a big confrontation for us. I said, you know what, Mom, this is inappropriate. I'm not you, she is not me, and I'm going to make different choices. And it was a hard time for us.
Yeah, and then I said, well, I apologize to you because I have broken my own rule, because I tried to bring my children up to be independent of me because I won't be around forever. And Leeza is very capable of bringing up her daughter, and I promised myself I would never interfere, and I did. So it just, parents are not perfect. I promised myself that, and still I broke my own rule.
What a good discussion you had.
Yeah, we had a discussion.
We're running out of time, but I want to finish off with the sex question. Did you have
thank you, John.
Sorry. Did you have the talk with Leeza? First of all, did your mom have the sex talk with you?
No.
Okay, did you have it with Leeza?
I did partially, not as intensely as I did my youngest daughter, because with Leeza, I tried to, tell her about guys, and that feelings and things of that, but not into any great detail. But I have a younger daughter, and when she was in high school, the AIDS thing came about. Mm-hmm. And that was the hardest thing, because nothing in my background prepared me to talk to my daughter about AIDS or condoms, and I had to do that.
But one year at Christmas, this woman right here, we would still go home, and the adult children would all have stockings, and she put condoms and a condom holder in my younger sister's stocking. I thought that was the best thing. Well,
Did you buy them yourself, or did you send Dad out?
No, I did. I did.
With some toothpaste and some candy bars, too.
But, I love my children, and I told my youngest daughter, I said, I really don't want to know if you're sexually active. But I said, I don't want to lose you, so don't depend on the guy for your protection, you know. And I
for you.
gave her
I
a
want to know
condom.
when my daughter becomes sexually active.
Do you want to have a different kind of discussion with
That
your
is a
daughter?
different, yeah, that is one choice that we will make
Well,
differently, but I think the times are very different.
I think they are too, and it was very hard for me to do that because, see, I mean, I was not prepared to discuss all this with my children. My
But
mother, you know,
Mom, we can talk sex now.
oh, yeah, I know.
So-
All right,
I know.
break it up, break it up.
I'm going to
Bring up
ask
all
you for
those-
some help, I
Gene,
guess.
we think
I'll tell you about that first boyfriend back in the 9th grade, okay?
we think you did a great job. She turned out great, and we love her.
Well,
So
thank you.
you.
Thank
We're
you.
going to get a chance to see you working out with Estelle Getty. Mom and Leeza with Estelle Getty coming right up. Thank you, Louise. We appreciate being here.
We'll tell you how to keep those little ghosts and goblins safe for Halloween, Friday on John and Leeza. In the Golden Girls' first season, Estelle Getty won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Comedy Series.
So dear. Estelle Getty played the feisty scene-stealing Sophia, of course, on the Golden Girls, and it's now brought a breath of fresh air to Empty Nest, and here's a look for you.
By the way, you've got one horny mutt there.
Dreyfus?
As soon as we got out of the gate, he bolted up the hill and didn't stop until we were on top of Mr. Silverman's poodle.
So, any sparks between you and Silverman?
Nothing. The dog got more action than I did.
Please welcome Estelle Getty.
What a nice place. What a nice audience.
Aren't they nice?
Yeah.
And you're going to get to see Estelle work out later on, a bit later on. That's why she's got her gear on, ready to go. Now, Estelle, Sophia will virtually say anything on the air.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, some of the lines.
I don't believe the things that she says. Sometimes I sit and watch, I go, oh my goodness, I can't believe she said that.
That's the great thing about the character. There were really no limits.
Well, I don't think anybody remembers that Sophia had a stroke that injured her censor, so that she says anything she wants to say.
She has no internal monitor.
No monitor.
At
That's
all.
true. Yeah, yeah.
But see, no, I've traveled with you a little bit, and I can say with some assurance that you do have a little bit of that component to your personality, too.
Yeah?
I mean, there's a little bit of Sophia in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
You have a good time.
Yeah, I like to have a good time. I'm a party person. Nobody knows that about me, but I am.
Big time.
Big time party person.
Yeah, the lady can get down. Absolutely. You know, we actually have something rather strange in common that has to do with, right here next to your workout video, I've put on the table the latest cover of, have you guys seen the
My
latest
boy
Vanity Fair?
Sly.
Yeah, where he's naked in all these pictures. Now, we have both seen Sly naked.
I don't know about you, but I have.
See? I've not seen the real Sly. I saw that glycerin anatomically correct body thing that they used for Demolition Man. You saw the in the buff Sly?
We did. Did anybody see it? The movie called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
Yes.
Well, I'm not giving you back the money. I didn't tell you to go. And here's a scene where he's taking a shower. And finally, he was in the buff.
And
Anybody have any questions?
are we talking full frontal nudity or?
Can you keep a secret?
No, but tell me anyway.
Well, I can.
Oh, okay. Wait, is he your type of guy?
He was great fun to work with. He's a very bright and funny and wonderful
Isn't he?
guy. I had a great time with him.
I adore him.
He's just, and it's amazing what he does with his body, because there are times when he's very slender and not at all that muscular, and then he beefs up and he does all this and he gets to look like that.
See, now, what's your husband like? Because I've never
He's
met
not
him.
like anything like that, I assure you.
But you've been married a long time.
Forever.
Like 40 years or something?
No, 40, how old is Carl?
Isn't it funny to go back
40,
to...
yeah, 46.
46
He married
years.
46 years.
Wow. So how does he deal with your notoriety? Because it doesn't seem like he is necessarily always around when you're in the limelight.
No, he lives in Florida. He doesn't live out here with me because it's an easier life for him down there. He retired and we bought a place in Florida, and he likes it there. We spend a lot of money on the phone, and And I go to Florida much more than he comes out to California. He's had a knee replacement, so he's not as movable as I am. I can move a lot sooner and a lot faster than he can.
But he gets a kick out of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your situation on Empty Nest is great. It's brilliant to put you on that show.
Well, so is Marsha Warfield on it now, too. And she's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The cast are just great, and there are going to be all kinds of new things happening.
What's happening with this park overall? I keep reading about that she's burnt out, or...
Well, that's not true. She says it may be true when she says it, but she comes into work and she's just great. She's funny and she's great, and Richard Mulligan has to be the kindest, gentlest, best actor in the world. They're just a marvelous crew. I just love them all. And we're going to have a baby on the show.
Really?
Yes, Dinah's having a baby. Carol on the show is having a baby.
Great. Always good for ratings.
Nanny.
Oh, that is scary. It is scary. Can I bring my mom out to work out with you with the
Yes,
tape and your gorgeous trainer who's backstage?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a minute.
See this training, you'll know why I go.
Still to come, country star Carlene Carter lets loose with a live performance of Every Little Thing on John and Leeza.
With Estelle and her fitness trainer, Raphael Pico. You saw scenes from the tape. What's it called? Young at Heart?
That's right.
And it's specifically geared for mature women.
For mature people, not women. There are men, too. I mean, you guys get off your duff and do something. I mean.
So, Raphael, what have you worked out with?
I designed the program. I did a tape who's going to be able for senior citizens, for men, women to work out and to be able to get stronger, to be able to do things in a much easier way, to do the diet, to get out of the car, to have more energy, and it's going to be able to help them. So
all right,
we have
let's do it.
little
This is important.
exercises.
It's important for senior citizens because everything can turn around again. I mean, when you find that you stop doing things and you can't do them as easily, start doing exercise. No matter what you think, you need exercise when you get older, more than younger people do.
Are you doing anything now, Mom? Walking and...
I'm walking some. I've tried spas, but I've never seemed to discipline myself enough to leave home. That's why I think these videotapes are going to be great.
She does a mean donkey kick that I remember.
They're not good for you.
Okay, there you go. So now we know. All right, what should we do?
So we're going to start with simple things just to warm up the neck and the shoulders area, just by making a rotation of the head from left to right. You go right and the other side. And you go as far as possible in order to stretch this area. It's an exercise that everybody complains about pain in the neck, and that will help to release this pain and to have more flexibility in the neck. Actually, Estelle, I believe your doctor was complimenting you about how flexible your neck was getting.
Now, let's do the other one.
You go from here and you go down.
Okay, the next one.
Here, down, you
She's ready to move on.
Let's move on so that we can show them.
Right here with the hands palms up together, you inhale and contract your back on your way down. Inhale up and contract your back on your way down. The key here is to work the back muscle, because that's what gives a better posture. And everybody who is getting through the years is going to lose a little bit of posture. So
do the funky chicken now, come on.
that's what it is. It's okay. And the posture is what we're trying to save by doing those exercises. We stop that, and we are going to use the towel.
Posture is a big thing that osteoporosis gets in. And
it can be reversed. It can be reversed with this tape. If you do it, you'll reverse the osteoporosis.
Well, how did you come up? How did you decide that you wanted to do this? Because you had done it.
I was falling apart.
I can't believe you let it fall apart.
We start from here, and you push straight here and press against there. And again, we work the muscle against the towel. Against the towel. And you push against the towel there, and you work the muscle in your back, like Estelle does. It's perfect. It's good. Inhale as you press.
How's her form?
Exhale. It's perfect. And you want to feel it right here.
Feel the burn now. Feel the burn.
No, it doesn't.
I always wanted to do this. I'm sorry.
You know what it is? It's deceptively easy. When you're doing it, you have the feeling that you're not doing very much of anything. But it works after you do it and do it and do it. You find, you know the flap under your arm that keeps waving after you stop? Mm-hmm. You can reverse that. You know when you wave goodbye?
How do you do that, Estelle?
With the exercises that you do, you build that more muscular. What?
We bend the body forward like that, and you straight your arms back to work the back of your arms.
That's a good one. Can you feel this, JG?
Straight back. Straight up, like that.
That really is a problem.
It's very simple. This doesn't hurt. And then straighten them.
a copy of the tape from my mom?
Sure.
Okay, and you can work out, we'll take it home tonight.
Oh, I think
Get you
that's
going.
great. I'm just...
Raphael, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Estelle, you know you're welcome back anytime. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
This was my treat to see you.
How can you avoid those diet scams? Fitness expert Susan Powder has some answers tomorrow on John and Leeza. GM MasterCard. Transfer any credit card balance to the GM card and earn 5% on money already spent toward a new GM car or truck. And pay no annual fee. Apply for the GM card.
Carlene Carter may be the daughter of June Carter and the granddaughter of Maybelle Carter, but she's got a sound all her own. Take a look.
From an angel's wings to a falling star, God makes everything but unbreakable hearts.
It is a great CD. She's here to sing a song from her new CD, Little Love Letters. Please welcome Grammy and Country Music Award nominee Carlene Carter. So we're going to start with the star here. You were, and it's a good thing. You were named one of the best. It has a list of best and worst dressed, and you got best dressed.
Well, I've been in there as worst dressed as well, so I was relieved this time when they actually picked on me, and it was a good thing.
So now, are you cocky because you're such a good dresser?
Well, I mean, I got all dressed up today. You tell me that you buy your wife a choker all the time, so.
Yeah, I was just saying, I love the choker thing. It's there's something about a woman in a choker.
There's something about choking women, right?
No. Something about a woman in a choker. That's why I buy my wife.
It's sort of a Victorian thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything bad ever happened to you when you've been best dressed or worst dressed?
When I thought I was kind of cocky and
exactly.
stuff? Oh, you want me to tell my story?
I know this story, so I'm sort of trying leading you into it.
Well, you know, my mom, June, she brought me up like always telling me, don't ever get the big head, because if you get the big head, God's going to bust your pants.
Right.
You know, basically, he's going to split your pants. You're going to make an idiot out of yourself. And when I first came out to Los Angeles, like in the late 70s, and was hanging out with a lot of like famous people, and I thought, boy, I've really made it and everything. I was at this big, you know, kind of Beverly Hills Hollywood party, and Ringo was there, and I thought, yeah, this is happening. So I go in the bathroom, and I can't believe I'm telling this on TV. I go in the bathroom, and I look in the mirror, and I'm going, yeah, I'm pretty hot, you know. And the dudes are like all looking at me and stuff. And I proceed to get ready to do my business, and I fall in the toilet because the man in there before me had left the lid up on it. And I just
all the way in the toilet.
All the way. I sat down in the toilet, and then I had to like pull myself up out of there and get a grip and go back out and be a normal person.
It's tough to dry yourself on those hand dryers because you can't really get your butt up there in the air. Right?
I can't believe you got me to tell that.
Oh, well, we're so glad that you did. When you were a kid, it's much better than I remember it in print. What is with the balloons, by the way? You're singing something about balloons, right?
I'm feeling very festive today. I'm going to sing a festive song.
Okay, so we have balloons for you.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that in a minute. But when you were a kid, you were hanging with, didn't Elvis push your stroller around and you're hanging with the monkeys? And
Well, when I was a little girl, my mom was friends with Elvis Presley, and she worked on the road with him before she married Johnny Cash. And this is a long time ago. This is back in the 50s. And unfortunately, I don't remember it, but my mother says that Elvis pushed me around Central Park in my baby carriage when she was in acting school in New York. So I got to hang out with Elvis. I never knew it, but I did get to hang out with him. I thought of, and I think he actually, there's a story about him sneaking in my house in Tennessee that I live in now, is where I grew up, him sneaking in there one night when my mom was on the road and actually spending the night there, and my mom coming home and finding him asleep there. He'd come over to old June's to hang out, and so I thought that if things ever really get tough for me, I'll just put a sign that says Elvis slept here up on my house and run tours through it.
I could just see Elvis hiding snack foods in your stroller as you're going along. Tell us what you're going to... Oh, I love Elvis. You see, every time I say something bad about Elvis, I get all these letters, so I take it back. What are you singing for us today?
Well, I'm going to sing, what you just heard a minute ago is my new single,
Right.
Unbreakable part, but I'm going to sing a song called Every Little Thing that did really well in the charts. And it's a song about all the girls relate to this. It's got a line about how much I love you so much, I hate you.
All right, well, we got the balloons ready.
Yeah.
Grab your stuff and we'll get started. We'll take a break right now. Be right back with Carlene Carter.
Tomorrow on John and Leeza, find out how one woman got thousands back from the scam artist who cheated her grandmother. And are there ways to be tipped off before you're ripped off? The Better Business Bureau will show you how. Plus, we'll uncover the facts surrounding those phony diets. Stay with us. Paul Mitchell. You may have seen our name in other outlets. Don't be confused. Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care. Available only in fine salons.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to bring you Carlene Carter singing Every Little Thing from her Little Love Letter CD. Carlene.
Okay.
I hear songs on the radio. It might be fast or it might be slow, but every song they play's got me thinking about you. See a fella walking down the street, he looks at me and he smiles real sweet. But you don't matter to me, 'cause I'm thinking about you. Every little dream I dream about you, every little thought I think about you. It drives me crazy when you go away. I ought to keep you locked up before. Not the one who wanna break you. I love you so much, I hate you. Every little thing reminds me of you. Honey, when you leave me here all alone. Tongue gets tied when I try to talk. My knees get weak when I stop to walk. Might as well stay home and keep thinking about you. Don't let the rest is on my TV set. It's just like us when we first met. And when they start to kiss and got me thinking about you. Every little dream I dream about you. Every little thought I think about you. Drives me crazy when you go away. I ought to keep you locked up before. And not the one who wanna break you. I love you so much, I hate you. Every little thing reminds me of you. Honey, when you leave me here all alone. Come on! Dream I dream about you. Every little thought I think about you. Drives me crazy when you go away. I ought to keep you locked up before. And not the one who wanna break you. I love you so much, I hate you. Every little thing reminds me of you. Honey, when you leave me here all alone. Every little thing reminds me of you. Honey, when you leave me here all alone. Every little thing reminds me of you. Honey, when you leave me here all alone. Hey!
That was great. Boy, you have the audience behind you.
Yeah.
Look, you're going out with Tom Petty November 2nd and 4th.
Yeah.
And then off to Europe, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Europe and sort of infiltrate over there in the little country music.
We'll knock 'em dead. Carlene Carter, thanks for being here. Be right back. Bye, everybody. The mother and daughter of